A lot of people feel that it's easy to prepare for an examination like RBI when you are in college, when you're studying, because they feel, what else are you doing? You're just preparing for your college exams. You must have enough time to prepare for another examination, a competitive exam like RBI. But it's not the truth. And no one knows it better than students who are actually studying in college right now. However, it doesn't mean that you cannot prepare simultaneously for a competitive exam like RBI if you are still in your college right now. There is very much scope of you taking out time to prepare simultaneously for an exam like RBI as well. In order to be able to do that, it's important to figure out a total of 4 things. In this session, I want to talk about those 4 things that can enable you, that can empower you to be able to prepare simultaneously along with your college for these competitive exams so that you can save on a lot of time. So that when you write the examination for the first time, you are better prepared than a lot of other people out there. And ultimately, it's a competitive exam, so you have to be better than others. Let's discuss these 4 things one by one very briefly first, and then I will in detail talk about all these 4 points as well. The first one is to identify the challenges that you face currently. For me, I've talked with a lot of students recently in Delhi University, and I figured that the main challenge that college students face is discipline. There are too many distractions, whether you want to hang out with your friends or whether you want to study. The second major challenge that you face is that there are too many exams to take. You're always trying to take some or the other exam. There are internals, then there are weekly tests, then there are semester-wise externals. So the number of exams never ends. The third issue that a lot of students face is attendance. When you actually feel that you don't want to attend the class, but you have to show your face and be physically present there in order to get that attendance that enables you to clear your college as well. And then there's another challenge that you have to travel to your college every day and waste time on that travel, and that too using public transportation, and we all know the condition of public transport in India. So I will be talking about all these major challenges and how can you overcome these challenges in order to help you prepare, because ultimately you have to somehow overcome these challenges, otherwise you will get stuck in them. The second thing that I want to talk about is to identify the requirements to prepare for RBI. What all is to be done? हमें क्या क्या करना है? Because if you are not clear about what all you have to do in order to prepare well for the examination, no matter what you study, no matter how much you study, it's not going to be effective. The third thing that I believe is very important for students is to identify your strengths that you have because of being a student. Believe me, there are a lot of strengths that you have that do not belong to other students out there who are, let's say, working professionals or who've already cleared their college and are now sitting and studying for their examination at home. It's important to identify those strengths and to use those strengths to your advantage. And the last thing that I want to talk about that I believe we should discuss is to identify your weaknesses. What is it that you lack? If you don't identify what is it that you lack, then how will you work upon it? So it's important to first identify, and then only we can work upon these weaknesses. So let's begin, number one, with the challenges. The biggest challenge, as I said, that you face is that of discipline. It's easy to say study in the library, but when my colleagues and friends are having fun and I have to sit and study, I know I feel sad about it. Sometimes I give up and go out with them, and that results in ultimately in backlog in my studies. The discipline required to study every day after college seems to be too much at times as well. If you're having this chatter with yourself often in your college or after your college every day, then you are lacking discipline. Now, the first point is to identify that you need discipline and then to work upon it. A better way to be able to get ahead in this race of discipline is to try and study in the morning, because that ways when you are going to your college, you already know that I've studied for 2 hours and therefore I now can take out more free time and enjoy with my friends as well. You can also enroll in some kind of library and find a group of friends who are also preparing for either the same or any other examination, so that you can create some kind of comfort as well as enjoyment in that group study as well. Otherwise, if you're doing it alone, it might feel like a task, and that is what makes it all the more difficult. The second major challenge, as I had said, is too many exams to take. Weekly tests, internals every semester, then externals every 6 months. You hardly find time to study for RBI exam in the middle of all this. Now, I know that this is a big challenge, but unfortunately, there is no running around it. But the best thing that you can do, that I would advise, is to take your examinations very seriously, because there is a common thought process or ideology or misbelief amongst a lot of students out there that what I'm preparing, going to study and prepare for RBI examination is completely different from my college studies, which is not so. Whatever you study in your college indirectly is certainly going to help you in your examination. The faster you realize it, the better it is for you. Therefore, the trick is to take your exams seriously, to study for your exams as deeply as possible, because I know, and you also will figure out, that it is going to help you in your preparation of RBI as well, and will make your preparation much more easy as well. The third major challenge that all of us, majority of us face is many teachers are too strict about their attendance. They probably don't teach well, but I have to anyway sit in the class and study. I feel like I'm wasting time here. Well, if you cannot take that class, or you don't want to sit in that class and listen to the teacher, you can very well try and study on your own, or you can find a way out, I'm sure. It's a challenge, but at the same time, there is no direct solution to this challenge. You cannot just bunk the class and rely on something else to happen to give you attendance. I would recommend that you just sit in that class and study what you want to study. Or if that subject feels important to you for RBI examination, then you can start studying that subject on your own as well while sitting in that class. Why waste time? Because time is money. The fourth major challenge that majority of the students out there face is traveling to college, because you have to spend at least an hour every day on just travel. It's too much, and at the same time very tiring as well. Now, this is again something that you cannot escape, but you can try and use this time more productively. I, for one, feel that listening to audios, listening to podcasts, audio podcasts, not specifically video podcasts, is very, very helpful. You can also listen to audio books as well through platforms like Audible. That also helps a lot in giving you more knowledge. Nowadays, even newspapers have started coming out with audio podcasts, so they are also helpful. At least you'll be able to figure out some basic opinions and articles, and that can shorten the amount of time that you need to specifically take out for your preparation every day. So do that. That will help. Try to use the time of travel rather than waste it on just traveling. Let's come to the second point, which is very important, which kickstarts our preparation, and that is, what are the requirements that you need to be able to prepare for the examination? The first thing that you need is to complete the syllabus at least once. I remember in 2023, Madhuri Gujar, one of my students, cleared the examination in her 4th attempt, and she came to me and she said that in my last 4th attempt, I changed the way I looked at the syllabus. And in this attempt, I told myself that my syllabus gets completed once I have revised it at least 3 times. Before this attempt, I used to tell myself I will first complete the syllabus and then come to current affairs. But even after completing the syllabus, I had actually not completed it completely, or I did not retain whatever I read completely. Therefore, my completion was actually half done. And this time, she changed her definition of syllabus completion, and she attached the word 3 revisions at least, and then only I will tell myself that I'm done with the syllabus. When she did that, she automatically took the syllabus more seriously, and at the same time, she completed it so many times that she could retain it very easily, and it also resulted in more accuracy in the examination. So this is what I mean when I say complete your syllabus, revise it at least 3 times after reading it once, only then you can say that you completed it. The second thing that you need to prepare for the examination is to revise once every week. So let's say let me keep Sundays purely for revision. I will start writing on Sundays once I have completed some substantial syllabus as well. Revision, as I said, is as important as coverage of the syllabus. If you're reading 5 days a week, it's important to spend at least 1 day every week just on revision. Believe me, it's going to work wonders in your preparation. After 2-3 months, you will realize the importance of this simple small thing called revision. So spend at least 1 day. Let me keep out every Sunday just for revision. That will help you a lot. The third thing that you need to do is to cover current affairs. Number one, try and read or listen to the newspaper while traveling. You can also watch videos of current affairs in travel. Now, current affairs comes a little farther from the syllabus. Once you're done with the syllabus, only then you pick up current affairs. The fourth thing that you need to do is to practice tests. Let me keep Saturdays for tests, because I know that the more tests I take, the better feedback I will get. And so let me study from Monday to Friday, take 1 test every Saturday, and revise every Sunday. I will also start writing on Sundays only once I have completed a substantial part of the syllabus. So Monday to Friday only study, Saturday only taking tests, which means objective tests. I can also add descriptive answer writing tests, and Sundays only for revision. The fifth thing that you need to do is to be aware about previous year papers, because it's the Bible to get into the examination, get into the head of the examiner as well. If you want to get the perfect perspective as to what the examiner wants to ask, previous year papers is the key. How to do it? Every morning, spend 15 minutes on previous year papers before starting your study. After you are done with past year papers, only then you start studying. You will automatically realize that your understanding of what is being asked in the examination, etc., is much better, much more refined than the competition out there. So do these 5 things, automatically your preparation is going to be much better. Now let me come to the strengths that you as a student have, and probably even you are not aware about them. Number 1, I'm studying every day. I'm in touch with books and my stamina to study is already developed. I don't have to work separately on developing the stamina to sit and study at one place for hours. This is something that working professionals often struggle the most with. After they come back from work, they have the energy to sit and study, but they just don't want to. They find it too monotonous. They're not even able to sit for 30 minutes. You have already built that study stamina. Use that for your advantage. The second major strength that you have is that your studies are already contributing somehow to your preparation. Every day you're learning more about finance, economy, or management. Every current affairs is discussed in college regularly if you're able to find that group or those kinds of people. Use that strength. People who are working often miss this kind of group, often miss this kind of regular interaction with people as well as with teachers, specifically for these kind of subjects that are asked in the examination. This is a major strength that you have. The third major strength that you have that probably even you are not aware about or not using it is that you have access to students who are also preparing for either the same exam or similar exams. So you can create good study groups and they can help you learn faster and also stay on track. It's also easier to study with a group. Studying alone often becomes monotonous, and therefore there's a major strength that is missing from lives of various other people out there who are also aspirants. So these are the major strengths. Once you have identified it, start creating your life around these strengths and they will automatically contribute towards your success. Let me now come to the weaknesses that you have as a student studying in college. I'm addicted to social media. I spend way too much time on it. Fortunately, I can control it by removing Instagram and other apps from my phone for a year. Now, this is a major weakness and it often affects majority of the students out there who are studying in colleges. But the fortunate news is that you can get rid of it and nobody is going to be worried about it other than you. So try and get rid of this weakness. It affects everybody, and more so it affects college students. The second major weakness that you might be feeling is that you are tired after classes and often find it difficult to study so much every day. It feels like I'm doing, all I'm doing is studying. In order to resolve this weakness, I can try to study for RBI in the morning so that I'm done with half of my daily targets in the morning itself. So this is a major weakness, that you're tired all the time because you're doing too much in your college, traveling, etc., etc. But you can get rid of it as well to a certain extent by studying early in the morning. If you can do that for a year, then automatically you'll be way ahead of the competition out there. The third major weakness is, I don't know if I should be making notes for everything or not. That is a major weakness. Being a student, we are not mature enough, or we don't know how to use or even make notes. You feel that you're bad at making notes or even bad at planning your preparation. If that is a weakness, I think you can use the planner given by me, because you know that you're bad at making it yourself. So it's better to use somebody else's planner for you. And what can be better than a teacher giving you that planner? A lot of good notes as well as short notes are also available everywhere nowadays. So let's try and use that instead of making your own notes all the time. Instead of trying to make notes, try and spend more time on writing instead. So instead of writing in terms of making notes, spend time on writing in terms of writing answers. Give yourself questions and write their answers. If you do not have questions, just pick up past year papers and write their answers. Once you start doing that, you will automatically realize that you're able to use your time more efficiently, because you're not spending time on making notes. Whatever you read, you just sync it with the notes that are already available. And instead of doing that activity of making notes, you're now jumping towards writing answers. So you're writing, you're practicing, but your practicing is not in making notes, it's in writing answers. That is ultimately going to be tested in the examination. So these are the major 4 things that I wanted to talk about, that I believe you as an aspirant, especially aspirants studying in college right now, can use in order to be ahead of the competition and in order to do well in your first attempt itself in the upcoming RBI examination. If you have any other weakness or strength or any other concern, you can pen it down in the comment section below. I will try and answer it at the earliest. I'll see you once again. Till then, all the best.